Pothole Palooza is coming.
A Veterans Resource Fair will be at the Tacoma Dome.
And Relay for Life is less than a month away.
These stories and more on Tacoma Report. Welcome to Tacoma Report. I'm Laura Proctor.
And I'm Angie Foster. Pothole Palooza is coming to Tacoma. This week-long effort will have city crews focusing on the maintenance and preservation of 10 arterial roadways. Stacy Ellifrit has more.
The City Street Operation Division will be out for Pothole Palooza, featuring Fill the Pothole, the week of June 3rd through the 7th.
And we're going to be working throughout the city on multiple different projects. And we're trying to get these arterial repairs done prior to our larger city programs starting under the Streets Initiative programs, which residents voted for in 2015, and we'll be working on over 400 blocks. So prior to those kicking off, we wanted to get out to the arterial network and perform repairs.
Arterial roadways are major transportation routes between areas of the city that carry most of the heavy traffic.
Crews will be working throughout the city. We've selected projects in each of the 5 council districts, and we'll be doing lane replacements and some intersection replacements. We'll be working on North Shore Parkway, North 21st out in the west end, East McKinley Avenue, South 48th Street, Tacoma Mall Boulevard. Those are just a few of the projects, but we have 10 planned for that week.
Locations were selected using pavement management data, as well as looking at the city's equity index. This was balanced with pothole reports and requests that come into the city from residents through Tacoma First 311.
We prefer that people either call 311, they can speak to a city staff member, give them the information of where the location is, address, intersection always helps us, or they can visit the city's website and visit Tacoma First 311 and then follow the prompts for providing that same information.
Keep an eye on the city's social media channels to get the latest updates on Pothole Palooza and learn more about how crews are working to reduce the presence of Fill the Pothole on city streets.
We're going to be out front with our communication. We ask people to follow our detour routes, road closures. There'll be contact numbers there. If people have questions, they can call staff and just work with staff as they're out there and slow down.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Stacy Ellifrit.
To learn more about Pothole Palooza and to see a schedule of where crews will be working, visit the city's website.
Work zone awareness emphasizes the importance of slowing down, paying attention, and practicing caution in work zones 365 days a year. Municipalities, state, federal, and private construction crews work along roads and highways with traffic speeds just feet or inches away. According to Washington State Department of Transportation, Washington averages 626 highway work zone injuries each year.
Please remember to be kind, slow down, stay calm, and be patient. We all want to make it home to our destinations safely.
Last year, City Council approved updates to modernize Tacoma's code regarding street trees. This reflects the city's ongoing commitment to protect and enhance Tacoma's urban forest. As part of these updates, the permitting standards for tree pruning, removal, and planting will go into effect on June 1st. Some high-level changes include tree pruning meeting standards to not negatively impact the health of the tree, and tree planting must meet city standards to reduce potential future conflicts with infrastructure. Along with these permitting changes, the city adopted a heritage tree program, publicly recognized Tacoma's largest and most significant trees.
Administrative offices at the City of Tacoma will close on Monday, May 27th in observance of Memorial Day. The Tacoma Recovery and Transfer Center on South Mullen Street will open as normally scheduled on that day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And garbage, recycling, and yard food waste pickups will not be affected.
This is the final meeting for the Charter Review Committee, and tonight we're going to hear their final recommendations from them.
The Tacoma City Charter requires the City Council to commence a comprehensive review of the City Charter no less frequently than once every 10 years by appointing citizens to a Charter Review Committee. On May 6th, the committee delivered 24 charter amendments to council.
I am very excited to be here today to present the Charter Review Committee's final recommendations from the 2024 Charter Review process.
By city charter, the committee dissolved after the delivery of the amendments and recommendations to council. City council members will now be reviewing these for voter election consideration in the coming months.
Thank you.
The Evergreen State College Tacoma hosted the inaugural statewide summit for historic preservation focused on Black history in Washington State. On May 11th, attendees learned about Washington's history of racially restrictive covenants, the effort to designate Black history sites as historic landmarks, and the ongoing efforts to document and archive Black history in Tacoma and across the state. Reporter Dan Strothman has the story.
Dozens of participants gathered from around the region to share stories of their own history and learn from others.
I come from a stolen people brought to a stolen land. Our blood and our bones are in this soil. I say that because we're talking about our human history here and the preservation of it and the inclusion of it.
Really what I'd like to focus in on now is the connection that Roger and I have. So on the left here is a photo of my family, the Donaldsons. This was taken in approximately 1902 in Rosslyn, Washington. And then on the right is Roger's family. So for Roger and I, both of our families were recruited to work in the coal mines in Rosslyn, Washington. There were white miner labor strikes that were occurring in the 1880s. And the railroad company, which was also the mining company, a very early corporation in that sense, they were looking for non-white labor to work for less, to put pressure on the white union so that they would agree to less wages.
Art exhibits, photos, and interactive demonstrations were available throughout the campus. Topics included the preservation of historic Black landmarks, neighborhoods, artwork, and personal family photos and heirlooms.
Tacoma realized that they needed to do a survey also to kind of figure out, well, what do we have here for when we're talking about African American history? And for me, when I started looking at the maps, I was like, well, a map tells you history, it tells you a story. We need to really try to figure out, like, where were the Black folks living at? Because it wasn't very, very clear. I mean, you just couldn't pull it out of any place.
I represent my community through my work, and I know that I'm here today because I was asked, and we're doing work about preserving our legacy, but a lot of times we don't even understand our own legacies, and we don't even understand ourselves.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Dan Strothman.
On May 23rd, the Tacoma Landmarks Preservation Commission will present the 2024 Historic Preservation Awards, 6 p.m. at the Blue Mouse Theater. Evergreen Tacoma will be among the recipients, winning Outstanding Achievement in Partnerships in Preservation.
Up next, May is Veterans Appreciation Month with an event supporting veterans.
And later, Relay for Life returns. Find out what's coming up this year.
As we said going into the break, May is Veterans Appreciation Month. Support for the women and men wearing our country's uniform runs deep with support. On June 1st, a Veterans Resource Fair will be at the Tacoma Dome with vendors, information, and ideas veterans can use to help their future. With me today is Sean Durnan, President, Nine Line Veteran Services and coordinator of the event, to fill us in on what veterans can expect at the fair. Hi, Sean.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for coming today.
This is amazing. Thank you for having me.
You bet. So for those who may not be aware, can you provide us a little background or history of the Veterans Resource Fair?
Yeah, so to start, we started out in 2012, actually at Green River College. Very small event, very targeted event. And over the years, the Tacoma Dome and the City of Tacoma have been kind enough to host us. So that first year, we had maybe 50, 100 people show up. The last couple of years, a little over 3,500. Yeah, so it organically evolved over all these years, but when you look at it for what it is, we're serving everyone. right? So not just when people think, oh, it's another resource fair. No, these are veterans helping veterans. These are family members helping family members. So when we talk about the resource fair and its history, we talk about that labor of love. Because the people who are coming to the table, yes, they're providers, yes, they're service members, yes, they're business owners. But it's really about providing that targeted services to people who can relate, that peer-to-peer relationship.
Yeah.
So it's been an amazing history. So this
Awesome.
marks 11 years.
Oh, man. So what do you all have in store for activities this year at the resource?
Oh, so many things. Could not be happier about it. For our more highly vulnerable populations, we are looking at showers. We're looking at mobile showers. We're looking at food, haircuts, gear, support services, resources. We have everyone from the federal level, the state level, the local county level, and even the city. I mean, selfish plug, love Grit City. But just a little bit of everything. So if you're a veteran, if you're a family member, if you're a service member, National Guard, Reserve, we want you to come down because this is that one time a year where everyone's going to be right where you can talk to them. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have those 10 different phone calls and go to those 10 different places. Yeah. And so when we talk about the resources, we're talking about direct housing, we're talking about medical services. Last year we did actual shots, flu shots, COVID-19 vaccines, and we'll be doing that again this year. Awesome. So everything from medical to support services to case management to employment. We partnered with ESD this year. Gary Lott and Nino Gray have been super amazing at the Employment Security Department, really connecting us with the employers. Nice. So the goal is to have people be able to walk in, get a job that day, and go home.
Is there a fee to get into the
It's
event?
absolutely free. Anyone who is attending, it is free to them. Our goal is to always break down as many barriers as possible.
Yeah. Do participants need to provide some type of military status documentation or anything like that to get in?
Well, going back to low to no barrier, the goal is always to have those documents, to have an ID, but we're not going to stop anyone from attending. If you are there because you may be a spouse or you may be a dependent, how do we verify that, right? Mm-hmm. And so again, back to that low to no barrier, come, because we want you to have access to the resources you deserve.
So what happens after the fair? If there's people that are looking for information, do you all host other events during the year?
We host a lot of different events. We actually have our company local here in Tacoma as well, where we do the follow-up. So upon coming into the event, you have this window of time where you're doing the intake. And everything in that intake identifies who you are, what you're there for, what you may want access to. Mm-hmm. And so not only does that serve as a pivot point to be able to contact them following the event, so we painfully for 2 or 3 months go through and reach out to each individual. Wow. And ask, what can we do? Did you have all your answers or questions answered? And then we move forward. Yeah. If that's not the case, then we do the targeted follow-up. Not only that, but we furnish a very detailed report from that demographic information, from those outcomes, those data-driven outcomes, and we furnish that to all of our community partners. Again, whether that's the city, the county, the state, that way we can show that tangible outcome, which has been our saving grace as we continue to serve that larger military population. It kind of sets the tone for how veterans, how family members, how their dependents, or, in similar cases to mine, when you're transitioning out of the service, how to access those services.
Yes. Which is really so helpful.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, we're just so excited that you could join us today, Sean, and special thanks to you and your team who are putting a lot of passion. It's clear to me watching you speak about it. It's just such a wonderful thing to be able to give back to our veterans who do so much for us. So we hope that you'll come back soon and share maybe after this event report down the road. We'd love to hear from you, and just thanks again.
Thank you for having us.
When we return, we'll show a collaboration project featuring the Scouts of America and Tacoma Neighborhood Council. Stay with us. Welcome back to Tacoma Report. A neighborhood blight becomes a little brighter with the help from neighbors and Scouting America.
Troop 507 has been assisting the South End Neighborhood Council's Green Space Project, which kicked off last year, and now one Scout is looking to earn his wings while helping his own neighborhood.
with kind of a dry brush, and blend it out.
We are standing out at our Mural and Green Space project out at 72nd and South D. I am here today with Cheryl Brooks, who's a local artist and Scout Troop 507, who has been attached to the site since we began its implementation. And they are out putting a mural on the wall today behind our wildflower meadow.
I've been really fortunate to live in the South Side and be part of a community that is embracing art as a way to clean up our community. This space was at one point just a trash heap. People were dumping garbage here. My friends cleaned it up, made it a green space, and were able to get grants through the city and other agencies to put up the art, and it feels really good to beautify my community.
By researching various funding opportunities, as well as looking at other successful models for this type of work, the green space quickly began to take root.
Neighbors have tried to do all of those things off and on over the years to try and bring back the space and make it more attractive, and it just hadn't stuck. So South End Neighborhood Council, we're both neighbors, two of us were out here one day talking, and this plan kind of formed.
The Neighborhood Council leveraged its network and community resources to implement a strategy that relied upon a variety of funding and partnership opportunities. These would ultimately leave a lasting impression.
Austin came to me and said that he was going to be doing his Eagle Scout project, and if I had any ideas, and I did. I was going to do this mural for the green space and decided that it would be more fun to partner than do it alone.
Austin Thomas of Troop 507 lives within blocks of the Green Space Project and was eager to find a way to make a difference in his community, and he hopes to inspire others to do the same.
People take a lot of pride in where they come from, and I'm like, hey, if I can make it a little bit better, motivating people to come out, enjoy the sunshine, doing whatever, It's my community, so it's like I believe in taking from your community and giving back, because I learned a lot of stuff growing up here, and so this is me giving back in a way. If you want to do something, there's people out there who definitely want to do it with you. And so, your circle matters. And so I surround my circle with a whole bunch of active people. This is what Scouts is. Scouts should get out and do stuff. They don't stay in the house. I hope to inspire people to take action.
To learn more about this project and its progress, you can follow the South End Neighborhood Council on social media or visit their site at cinco253.org.
The invitation is out for community members to dream big and help shape Tacoma's future. Known as the One Tacoma, Shared Vision, Shared Future Initiative, the program's intent is to engage the community on ideas and perspectives on growing Tacoma in the next 10 years. This features a series of several in-person workshops and online idea sharing on long-range planning. Strategic and planning efforts will come based on community input, with the first group of workshops happening in May and June. Check out their website for workshop and event opportunities, dates, and times.
The United States Air Force Band of the Golden West launched into a Mother's Day concert from symphonic music to rousing vocals. This free concert was at the Pantages Theater with a fair-sized crowd. Mayor Victoria Woodards provided a hearty Tacoma welcome to the musicians with the audience's thorough enjoyment of all of the orchestrated pieces. The Band of the Golden West perform all over the country, connecting the American public with music and positive impressions of the United States Air Force.
Relay for Life is back again at Mount Tahoma Stadium. Saturday, June 8th is the day for you to do something special with this original Tacoma event. Tacoma Report's Dave Gordon has more on the story.
Relay for Life Tacoma is back this year, featuring relayers out for a day of support, raising awareness and funds for the American Cancer Society.
Relay for Life started here in Tacoma in 1985. Dr. Gordy Klatt took to the track out at University of Puget Sound, right down the street, and decided to make an impact for his local patients that needed more support than the hospitals were able to offer.
This year marks the 40th anniversary since Dr. Klatt took the first steps into making Relay into a tradition. June 8th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at Mount Tahoma High School is this year's event. With 4 decades of support, this year promises to be full of recognitions focused on Tacoma.
We have a 40th anniversary celebration ceremony going to be at our event this year. We have some national speakers coming in that are able to kind of share the history of what Relay meant to the Youth Cancer Society and really explain the 40 years of impact that started here in Tacoma and how it's now gone around the world.
Relay for Life also includes additional 40th anniversary support by other American Cancer Society sponsored services, including the Tacoma Discovery Shop in the Proctor District.
One of the ways that we're working together with the Tacoma Puget Sound Relay for Life event is we're going to have volunteers modeling at the show. Relayers will be able to see some of the merchandise that is for sale here at the Discovery Shop.
Encouragement and the relay are all part of the support.
We encourage them to stop by and share their stories about how they're impacting the mission against cancer and their survivorship stories and be a part of our experience as well.
According to Relay for Life organizers, in 2023, roughly $68 million was raised in the United States by more than 1,200 Relay for Life events.
It's really proof that hope started here in Tacoma. We've been able to raise thousands upon thousands and thousands of dollars to help cancer researchers, support for our cancer patients, and with advocacy to help make a change in cancer patients' lives.
Support comes by taking one step at a time.
But just because we had a pandemic a few years ago, cancer's still here and we're still out here fighting. We need people back on the track helping us out, helping us raise money. Even if you can donate an hour or two of your time on June 8th, we would love to put you to work and help our event be a great success.
The Stars are aligned in Tacoma for professional sports. The Tacoma Stars Soccer Club announced last week 2 new teams will be kicking off their start of the United Soccer League for the 2024 season. Tacoma Report's Mark McKittrick has the story.
In a press event last week at Bellarmine Prep School, U.S. Congresswoman Strickland was joined by Tacoma Mayor and Deputy Mayor to introduce the newest professional sports teams to their new home.
If you've been in Tacoma for a long time, like a lot of us have, this is a very, very familiar sight. This particular logo, these particular colors. And it's very exciting today to add the women, to highlight them, to bring them home, and to really elevate this sport.
The semi-professional soccer teams are gearing up this weekend to kick off the 2024 season here in Tacoma.
Stars will begin competition in the Northwest Division of the pre-professional USL League 2 here at Memorial Field. The following week, the Tacoma Galaxy will, the highest level of competitive women's sports in Pierce County, will kick off their USLW League home schedule here as well.
The USL2 and USLW League brings the best soccer players of the future from all across the country to Tacoma. The Stars and the Galaxy will be home to top-tier amateur and collegiate players that are setting their sights for stellar results.
This league is high level and it develops professional players. So it's exciting to play here on this pitch now.
So let's rally behind the Tacoma Stars and the Tacoma Galaxy players. Let us cheer them on with unwavering support, knowing that their success is our success.
There was a lot of enthusiasm and fond memories shared from presenters at the event, and everyone is hopeful for a bright future for both Tacoma teams.
And I have lots of great memories growing up of watching the Stars play here in the city of Tacoma. And so I'm so excited the Stars are coming back to Tacoma and are going to be here for my children to cheer on them. And then I'm also very excited that my daughter, the soccer player, also has a team to look up to in the Galaxy. I think it's really important to have those heroes and people you can look up to and admire.
For Tacoma Report, I'm Mark McKittrick.
The first games of the season are Sunday, May 19th for the Stars and Sunday, May 26th for the Galaxy. You can visit TacomaStars.com for tickets and scheduling information.
That wraps up this edition of Tacoma Report.
A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org.
We leave you now with a snapshot of what will happen during this year's Relay for Life. I'm Angie Foster.
For decades now, Relay for Life has been a beacon of support for bringing attention and funding for cancer awareness. I'm Laura Proctor. Thanks for joining us.